In December 1915, the Allies held the Second Chantilly Conference and agreed that all their armies on different fronts should coordinate their attacks on the Central Powers to hinder them from sending reserves from one front to another. In accordance with the Chantilly Agreement, the Russian commander of the southwestern front of the Imperial Russian Army, General Alexei Brusilov, planned a massive offensive against the Austro-Hungarians in Galicia for the summer of 1916. The aim of Brusilov's offensive was to ease the pressure on the Allied armies in France and Italy and hopefully force Austria-Hungary out of the war. Germany's furious attack on the Verdun Heights in February 1916 took the French by surprise, and the hellish fighting soon consumed the bulk of the French army. Marshal Joffre requested that the Russians hasten their plans to the east to draw German forces away from Verdun, and on June 4th, Brusilov attacked along a 250-mile front in Galicia. Using revolutionary artillery and shock troop tactics, the Russians broke through the Austro-Hungarian defences and secured more ground than any other offensive of the war, but at a tremendous loss of lives on both sides. As planned, Germany was forced to transfer substantial resources from Verdun to counter the Russians, aiding the French defence. Austria-Hungary too had to pull troops from the Italian front, but the Brusilov offensive had severely crippled the dual monarchy for the rest of the war. In December 1915, the Allies... In December 1916, the Eastern Front is locked in a stalemate. After several failed and expensive campaigns, the Russians were unwilling to attack, while the Austro-Hungarians were content to hold the line. Germany battled the Allies in France and Belgium, but the Allies needed to attack the Central Powers on both fronts. So the under-resourced Russian army was pressed to find new methods to break down the superior Habsburg forces that had long resisted them.
Bald werden sie kommen. Erst das Bombardement, dann Massen von Infanterie. Aber unsere Bunker werden uns beschützen. Wir haben 3 Verteidigungslinien, jeweils 5 Kilometer voneinander entfernt.
Religiöse Seelen stellen sich die Hölle als flammendes Inferno mit glühender Kohle und extremer Hitze vor. Die Soldaten, die im Schnee an der Ostfront kämpfen, wissen es besser.
Am Horizont ist wieder ein russisches Flugzeug aufgetaucht. Wir haben sofort das Feuer eröffnet, aber es hatte offenbar genug gesehen und drehte ab. Und wieder wurde unsere Stellung kurz darauf mit Granaten beschossen.
Soldiers, the Russians are finally upon us, so prepare yourselves. We must defend Galicia Fields. If we fail, do not despair. We will move to our second line of defense at the Varechia crossing. Should we lose this position, we must retreat to this area of no man's land. If the enemy proves too strong, we shall fall back and defend Melnik Farm. For the love of our great empire, show strength and courage. We shall not fail.
We are losing objective apples. We are losing objective apples. We have lost objective apples. Lost the sector. Retreat to the next sector. The enemy has reached the final objective. have lost objective apples. Half of the enemy forces are gone. We are losing objective butter. We have lost objective butter. We have taken objective apples. We are losing objective apples. We have lost objective apples.
This territory is lost. We must fall back and prepare to fight again at Colomea. While there is a man left standing, the sun will not set on the Habsburg Empire.
With precise artillery attacks and methodical use of shock troops, the Brusilov offensive managed to breach many sections of the Eastern Front. To avoid a total collapse of its armies and so the Empire, it was vital for the Austro-Hungarians to hold up the Russian advance until German troops arrived from the west. Kolomea was to be where one of these decisive battles would take place.
Wir warten schweigend. Denn würden wir sprechen, käme die Wahrheit heraus. Nämlich, dass eine Niederlage hier das Ende unserer Armee und vielleicht sogar des Reichs bedeuten würde.
Wir sind 9, 10 Kilometer marschiert. Und ständig dachten wir an weitere Kämpfe gegen die Russen. Es war die reinste Folter. General Hotzendorf kann nicht erwarten, dass wir weitergehen.
Mit der Zeit wird die seltsame Stille der Stadt immer unheimlicher. Die Männer starren nur nach vorne und warten auf die Schlacht. Wo bleiben die Russen?
These are grave times. We must hold our positions no matter the cost. Our intelligence suggests that the Russians will first attack the eastern line here. If they are successful, we must fall back to defend the Samara River. Our next defensive position, if, God forbid, these defenses should fall, our last stand will be at the Kolomea supply line. Do not let them pass. The future of our army, indeed our entire empire, depends upon it.
We have lost objective apples. We have lost objective butter. We have lost the sector. Losing objective apples. Lost objective apples. Flame Trooper kit is available near your location. Trooper kit is available near your location. We have lost objective butter. We have lost the sector. We are losing objective apples. We have lost objective apples. The enemy has reached the final objective. We have lost objective apples.
Soldiers, we have lost this battle, and I think this war. We are on the verge of a military and national catastrophe. May the Emperor save us.
The 1916 Brusilov offensive proved to be the worst crisis of World War I for Austria-Hungary and the Triple Entente's greatest victory. But it came at a tremendous loss of life for both sides. And without the promised support of Russia's other armies, much of the territory gained by Brusilov was lost to the Germans arriving from the west. It is a sad irony that in the end, it was a political collapse in Russia, not a military defeat, that would decide the outcome of this region's war.